Good afternoon and welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside the show while it is live, and if you would like to join the debate, simply click on the link in the info box below this video with the page that you are currently watching on mute. Other than that, there are only a couple of rules in the Hangout. Number 1, please do not swear. If you do, you will be ejected. And number 2, please do not try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts if you are ejected. I'm going to transition across my photographs so I can share the show on Facebook, Skype and Twitter, and I would encourage anybody who is currently in the live audience to do the same. Please share the show on any social media platforms that you have at your disposal. Once again, if you are new to the show, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. So I've just finished sharing the show on Facebook, Skype and Twitter, and once again I would encourage anybody who's currently in the live audience to do exactly the same. Please share the show on any social media platforms that you have at your disposal. If you're new to the show, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside the show while it is live, and if you would like to join the debate, click on the link in the info box below this video with your watch page muted. There are only a couple of rules in the Hangout. Number 1, please do not swear. Number 2, please do not try to rejoin if you are ejected for swearing. Other than that, it's a free-for-all to express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you were to join at the moment, your views would be entirely unopposed as there is nobody here. With that, I'm going to say a few shout-outs to the people who have currently joined us in the chat. So let's bring up that and have a look and say hello. So Flat World Takeover says hello. Hello to you too, Flat World Takeover. Good to have you here. Stuart Melville Flat Earth. Very pleased to have you here. Thanks for being here. Much obliged. Joven Trendmaker, pleased to see you. Thanks for being here. Physics Warrior gives 4 thumbs up. Same to you in the audience. If you can like the show, that would be very much appreciated. Chuck the show a like. Everett Anderson, thank you for being here. Dave Little, good to see you also. With that, I'll transition back to my photographs and pop myself on mute and say one last time, if you're new to the show, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. Good afternoon to you too, AIK. And hello to you, Ian Leahy and the Moon Matrix. Very good to have you here. Ranty, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Hello, Flamingo Boot. Good to have you here. Nice to see you. I am Rick. Good to see you as well. Very pleased to have you all here. Anybody who's joined since I've done the 2 plugs that I've already done on this short stream, or 10-minute long stream, feel free to click on the link in the info box below this video if you would like to join the debate and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you were to join now, there would be absolutely nobody to contest your opinions. Obviously, that will change with time. But as I say, click on that link below the video to join the debate and express your views on the shape of the Earth. Please do not swear. I'd like to do a proper shout out to Ian Leahy for his amazing radio interview that he did the other day. It was excellent. He, Martin Liedtke, and Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole all did an interview, and Ian Leahy was, as always, the voice of reason. Please don't hit that, Eleanor. Come on, I'm trying to shout out Ian Leahy here. Have some respect. So yeah, he did an excellent job. The voice of reason, very calm, very rational. Yeah, great job, Ian. Really, really well done. Dawn Treader UK, thanks for being here. Oh my window's just blown its way open. I'll have to grab that. Excuse me, little munchkin. Now come on, that's Daddy's seat. Come on. Good girl. Daddy's seat. Come here then. Right, we're going to have to go on mute anyway because Curved Water's join us. Hello Curved, how you doing?
Doing alright. How's everybody out there?
I'm good. Very good indeed. No complaints from me.
Anybody out there want to talk about this?
Very enticing, Curved. I'm sure you'll get a taker with that. Yeah. You cheeky monkey. Come on, let's mute little monkey.
I saw the last debate last night for me. Things kind of got a little bit crazy there. I noticed.
Yeah, I had a couple of people contacted me afterwards, actually, Curved. People are starting to become emotionally involved in these debates, and I'm like, why do you care? You know, just don't worry about it. You know, just take the lessons that the people on the panel have taken from it. If you've come across something you don't know, go and research it, but don't get emotionally involved in it.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to join early here, just to, you know, bring a calming presence to the hangout, because, you know, that's what I do. I just keep things calm and sarcastic.
Yeah, I think it tends to take about, how long? When did you come in? Yeah, 15 minutes. 15 to 20 minutes to get a guest in, and then maybe 20 to 30 minutes to get a debate going, i.e. another guest in. And then within the first hour, you've normally got a pretty good subject matter to cover. And then in the second hour, it's where it gets to like a crescendo. It gets to a peak. And that's normally where I end. And I'm glad I did, because afterwards, I went and watched Grim V and P. Mars, who had carried on streaming. And it kind of descended from there, I felt. So I was glad I ended it when I did. If people have... Come on, chicken. Let Daddy speak. So if people have gone away and sort of developed their arguments and then come back in the following day, like you've just said, really calm, that's the ideal, rather than screaming away with high blood pressure and trying to find that video. You know, it's never going to work.
Yeah. You know, I'm wondering, the behavior of certain participants, I won't name them, but they tend to, for one, ramble on incessantly without really saying anything. They do so while other people were in the middle of their, you know, question or response. Behavior like that is going to tend to get people worked up and triggered and, you know, very frustrated when things like that just continue to go on and nobody checks them. At least that's my view on it.
Yeah, it's a rubbish debating technique. Just talk continually, and then the other person can't get a word in, and it's poor. But by the same token, like my kid's doing, trolling me right now. You know, you can't get a word in edgeways.
Yeah. I wonder if Mr. Blackson is going to be joining today. I'd like to hear more about the truck driving from Chicago or Dallas down to Chile, and find out why he thinks that's some kind of a proof or evidence. Is like, what does he expect? What does it prove? Why does he think so? Maybe somebody in the chat might have a comment on that. Why does Blackson think that water should be not level when you travel around the world? What do they expect to see? Yeah, to the curb. How far do you have to drive to get to the curb? Correct, Don Treader. I did, not last night, but in a previous hangout, I did give him one answer to that, because he was asking how far before you have to see the curb, how much curb. He answered 10 foot. I came back and told him, I put it in the chat. I don't know if he didn't see it, just ignored it, whatever. But, you know, just doing the quick calculation there on the curve calculator. It's, 4 miles will give you 10 foot, 8 inches of drop from the horizontal. It does not mean a 10 foot, 8 inch hump anywhere or anything like that. Just that there's 10 foot, 8 inches of drop from the horizontal. A lot of people in words can't really even understand what's going on with that. And I'm no Spurs chemo. I don't have I'm not a master of MS Paint like Spurs is, so I can't draw things like that out to try to demonstrate. But oh my, look who we have.
Been joined by Pete Shea. Good to have you here, Pete. Thanks for being here.
Hey, thanks, Nathan. Thanks for pronouncing my name correctly. A lot of people seem to want to call me Shea, but it's Shea. Thank you. How you doing? How you doing, Curved?
Ah, fantastic. How are you, sir?
Well, I'd love to be fantastic, right? Those are the days. But alive and kicking anyway, yeah. The debate goes on, right?
Yeah.
I have a poser for you, Curved, if you don't mind. I mean, are you up for it? It's only a general. It's a general one. It's a general one, and maybe you heard a variation on the theme before, but I posed it yesterday on my own hangout to Lewis. But I'm interested in what, because we know it has a sort of a practical application. We know that airplanes travel from place to place. So my scenario is that on the equator, you have 2 planes. I'm in one plane, you're in another plane, and you're flying east, and I'm flying west, and we'll fly all the way around along the equator and get back to starting position. And we can make it 1,000 miles an hour for the sake of calculations, right? So my question is, which plane what times will the plane, both planes, make the journey in? One going against the Earth's spin at 1,000 miles an hour, and one going with the Earth's spin at 1,000 miles an hour. Now, the only thing I will say as well is we know, again, plane flights are real. So in theory, you could plot a sort of a pathway along the equator from airport to airport, add up the times, and get a rough idea of what it would take in reality. So that's my question.
Well, all right. Well, in this course, flying east and west along the equator, why are the planes flying straight and not having to bear east or west? left or right to remain east or west? You know,
Well, forget it. Yeah,
why don't they apply in a circle like the equator would be on a flat Earth? Or are they flying in a straight great circle route that curves around the globe, but in essence, it's still a straight line in that sense?
Well, I mean, there is no real east and west on a globe, right? Because
Of course there is.
well, if you ask me to point east, right? If I move further along, I will have to change the direction which I point east, right? Because I'll be at a different position along the sphere.
Wow.
Well, from my position right here, if I just pointed east and travel in a straight line, I would veer off east on the globe, right? I'd have to keep sort of circling around, looking at my compass and changing bearing. So each continuous successive east would be differing from the last as I travel, right?
Straight line. Interesting. Now, you know that like on Google Earth, you take a point and you start with an initial heading of either 90 degrees or 270 degrees, which would be due east or due west. That would be flying, or that line of sight that would lay down to form around the globe, forming the great circle. That's, they call that a straight line. It's considered a straight line, a great circle. You're aware of that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, even though you're following that straight line path, so to speak, over the surface of the globe, your direction is going to deviate. You're not going to continue traveling due east. It doesn't work that way. And I will say, nor does it work that way on any kind of a flat Earth model. Nothing circular. So what are we getting at with that point?
Okay. Well,
can you do that on your flat Earth? Can you just point and go? In essence, like follow a laser line straight, theoretically straight laser line path, and you're always traveling east.
Well, and I was specifically relating the question to a globe model, but in my own dodo Earth model, I say the dodo wears a checkerboard dress. In other words, there's a Cartesian grid-like coordinate system to be used for a flat and stationary plane where the land masses are fixed in relation to one another. And this is the system that's used for our local ordnance maps curve, the spherical system when it comes into bearing when you talk in international levels or globular levels. So yeah, that's not an issue in terms of my picture of the real Earth. But forget about all that. My point is just around the Earth itself. We can just forget about east, west, whatever. We're doing a circle, an opposite circle around the equator. So one is going in the direction of the spin, one is going in the opposite direction.
Right. Well, on the flat Earth, the typical flat Earth depictions, the plane has to be there.
Flat Earth. On a globe, I'm asking you if the Earth is correct. I'm just asking you, what would the appropriate times be for the two different planes at 1,000 miles per hour? So forget about the flat Earth for a minute. My answer would be the same, right? My answer would be no. Well, you see, my answer in reality, both journeys would take pretty much the same time, right? If you went from a series of points along the equator on your plane on a flat Earth and you flew in a circle, let's say, either way it would make no difference. So that's reality based. So if we're to translate that to a globe, you would have to say that both times would be roughly the same, right? And how does that work on a globe? That's ultimately my point. How does that work? One going against the spin all the way around, one going with the spin. And Lewis Hackett just mentioned that they briefly, he said that they both would make it in roughly the same time, just taking winds into account, because they retain the momentum of the spinning Earth when they set off, no matter which direction they set off, and so that doesn't quite make sense to me, right? So I was just
Wind
wondering.
doesn't. You don't believe in wind?
No. He said outside of any wind factors, right? That they would both roughly make the journey in the same time.
Well, if the planes are flying over the globe and winds are calm, there's basically no wind, then the planes are going to be able to come back or fly in opposite directions and come back around, and they should meet each other at the same time. They're both flying through the atmosphere that's remaining, with the Earth, as evidenced by the fact that there is, no measured wind speed. So I'm not sure what you're getting at or what you expect to happen.
So for all intents and purposes, it's as if the globe isn't moving, and it's irrelevant what direction you travel in, either way, with the spin or against the spin. It's irrelevant. You're saying it's irrelevant because they'd make it in the same time. All things considered.
All things considered, yeah. As far as I know, they would make it in the same time. If wind's not a factor, then they're going to make it in the same time. That may not be the case. That's my understanding.
Does that intuitively make sense to you? If you just picture that in your brain now, a little ball spinning, a plane,
yes.
That intuitively makes sense to you, Dad.
Yeah. Because what you're describing is like, how come when you're on an airplane, cruising at 500 miles an hour, if you were to jump in the airplane up in the aisle, you're skipping to the bathroom. Why when you leave the floor are you not flying towards the back of the airplane when you lose your contact with the floor, as if you're not going to feel 500 mile an hour effect on you?
You're contained.
If that what the container is not an issue. The container is not an issue.
Well, try it on a plane that has an open roof, right?
You are in the airplane. You are moving at a constant speed.
Everything is.
You have no effect. There is no force. Your drinks don't spill over because you're flying steady at 500 miles an hour.
Right. You know what?
Blindfolded, you can't tell if you're walking to the front of the plane or the back of the plane.
Right, but again, the pertinent point being everything is contained, so everything has this momentum and it's moving forward at the same rate. So there's no relative
with no wind and with no wind in the plane, you have the same thing as no wind on the surface of the Earth.
Right.
The same thing would happen with a drone flying
but
in the airplane.
Yeah.
Why do you expect a drone? If you were allowed to take a little quadcopter on an airplane and you were to go ahead and send the drone up, 5 feet off the floor of the craft, you're moving at 500 miles an hour. Why is the drone not suddenly sent flying back against the back wall of the airplane?
You could say the same about a balloon in a car, right?
You could. Now, Pete, can you answer the question? Why does the drone, the quadcopter in the airplane, not fly to the back of the airplane just because it raised up into the atmosphere inside the airplane that is moving with the airplane? Why does the drone not do this?
Everything inside is contained, so everything is under equal condition, under the effect of equal conditions, right?
Okay, and in your scenario that you presented me, what are the unequal conditions?
Okay, so what's containing the Earth, the atmosphere? It's almost hang on. It's almost as if, hang on. It's almost as if you're saying that as the Earth spins, it spins everything with it. So not only the atmosphere, does space spin with the Earth as well? When does the effect of the Earth spinning cease to affect these externals, I guess?
You realize
you were talking about inside the Earth. That would be different, right? As the Earth is spinning and everything is spinning with inside the Earth, if life was inside the Earth, then you could see everyone being under the same sort of conditions. But no, there's no container outside, right?
This is a very simple thing that you guys work very hard to try to complicate and obfuscate.
What? Okay, hit me with it. Hit me with the simple thing I'm missing.
Exactly what we've been talking about.
So I'm asking. So you're making a comparison with a
airplane.
contained. You're making a comparison with a contained sort of set of circumstances, and you're translating that to the Earth. And even though the Earth is not contained, right? Or unless are you telling me the Earth is contained? You tell me there's a big barrier around the Earth that once something inside spins, everything else goes along with it. Are you saying there is a containment or there's no containment?
You know better than that, Pete, and you know that there is no need for a container in this situation in the Earth. You know that a container is not needed.
You're comparing apples and cheese.
You know that barometric pressure decreases with altitude. The air thins, less pressure.
But why is that? Is the question. This is the point curve.
Why is that? Why is that? For the reason that things fall down towards the Earth.
Well, why? Okay, if things fall down towards the Earth, why is there anything left up at the top? Why is there this gradient?
Buoyancy.
It's funny, isn't it? You hate it when so-called flat earthers bring up buoyancy and buoyancy. But what about gravity? Everything has been pulled down with this immaculate force. Remember, this force is able to hold everything on the opposite side upside down from our perspective. So it's that strong, right?
And what effect is that from our perspective?
Well, if we're on one side,
make that meaningful. Make that meaningful.
I will.
You guys make a circus out of this nonsense about planes flying upside down and whatnot.
Okay, Kurt.
You know that's absolutely ridiculous.
Don't put me into any category, and I will satisfy you there in that sense. Well, if we're on a globe, right, we would have to be on one side of the globe compared to the other hemisphere. So that's what I mean.
Sure.
That's what I mean.
And of what value? Of what value is that statement? So what?
Well,
everything pulled to the center.
Buoyancy.
Nothing feels upside down. That's a ridiculous argument, and I'm going to call it that.
I asked you, why is there a gradient in the first place? And you just said buoyancy. And I said, well, what about the force?
No, I said for the reason that things fall down. Did I not?
Right, and then I asked you about the atmosphere and why was there a gradient within the atmosphere in terms of pressure in the first place, and you said buoyancy. Right, and I said this. Okay, I said this buoyancy then is able to, well, in other words, is able to defeat this massive force that is holding everything upside down from our perspective on a globe, right? And then you said, go and explain that, and I explained it there. So you happy with that?
Not at all.
No, of course you're not.
Well, you haven't explained anything, Pete. What do you think that you just explained there?
I can explain everything.
You made the claim. What did you explain?
Ask me a question, I'll explain if you could. I'm trying to get you to explain something.
I just did ask you a question. I asked you, what did you explain? What do you think you just explained, Pete? What do you made the claim that you just explained it. What did you just explain? I'm very curious to know.
When you asked me to explain my statement about from our perspective, I explained that, didn't I? On a globe. So, yes, on a globe, if I'm on the surface of a globe, but there's someone who's going to be at the complete opposite side of it, right? So we're on separate hemispheres.
And I asked, of course, that's the way it would be. And of what value is that statement I asked you? And you never explained that.
Okay, well, I thought I already explained that. So there's a force in operation that's able to hold everything from our perspective to the globe, but yet buoyancy and density will maintain this gradient in terms of the atmosphere. That's
we know that occurs.
Is there something wrong there?
No, there's nothing wrong there. We know that occurs, Pete. We know that atmosphere decreases.
We can observe phenomena, but by coming to the proper cause of it, this is a different matter curve. This is what we're trying to get at. I can explain why there's a gradient, but I'm asking you, why are you comparing a contained system? Why are you giving? Why are you making the equation between a contained system and a non-contained system? That's like chalk and cheese. You can't compare the two, right?
Yeah, for this analogy with the airplane, being inside the airplane and the drone lifting off and not being slammed against the back wall of the airplane, because the airplane's traveling at 500 miles an hour, and so is the air inside of it.
So
it's very analogous for the purpose, and you don't have anything for that.
Let's make the analogy a bit deeper then. So we'll equate a helicopter, say, with the drone. What will we equate with the internal barriers of the plane itself on Earth? What will we'll equate the atmosphere in the plane with our own atmosphere, a helicopter with the drone. What can we equate with the main body of the fuselage, the plane itself that is containing the whole scene on Earth? What can we do that?
The atmosphere.
No, the atmosphere is already within the plane, right? So now we have the boundaries, which is the plane fuselage itself, right?
Right, but Earth is not, the atmosphere of Earth is not inside an airplane. It's not contained in an aluminum shell shaped like an airplane or shaped like...
No, you have an artificial atmosphere, right? That's why you have a pressurized environment.
Pressurized is not a valid term here, Pete.
Of course it is, man.
Pressurized, why does the pressure vary? Show me a container.
Within a plane.
Show me a container where pressure varies within the container.
I could give you an example of that. So you've got a truck that's got chickens in it, and the truck is open top. And as the truck travels down the road, the chickens stay inside the open top truck. But as soon as they jump up, the pressure changes and they fly out.
Nathan, can you show me a pressurized container that has pressure gradients within the container?
Yeah, that would be an example. So as the truck travels along the road, the pressure and the air moves along with the truck inside the container. But because the container has an open top, there is a pressure gradient. It changes. There's a high pressure system on the top of it, which will drag out chickens were they to jump in the air as the truck travelled along.
Nathan, that is not what we're talking about. I want an enclosed container, a sealed container.
Sure, but you just said, sorry, I've got to get this in curved. You've just said Earth is not I can't pronounce that word. Analogous to a sealed container like an aeroplane. So I'm trying to give you an example of something that's more analogous to Earth, which would be like
you're opening the container to make your point. I need a closed container, pressurized, that demonstrates pressure gradients within the pressurized container.
Well, maybe you could give us an example of that.
I would imagine your house, actually, and if you had instrumentation to measure the pressure at the top, at the ceiling of your roof, as opposed to the floor of your house, you will find a minuscule variation based on a sort of greater accumulation at the bottom, just a gradual one. So if you can expand that to a larger scale, you're going to expect the same, right?
Is that due to temperature differential speed?
Well, it's due to
warm air being less dense than cooler air, with cooler air settling in hot. Okay, you're going to go with that route. And of course, but what do we find on the Earth? Where does the hot air go? The hot air goes up towards thinner air. I mean, up the cooler air is less dense.
And what happens? How far does the hot air
near the Earth?
That's a good question, actually. How far does the smoke from your chimney or the hot air rise?
Your example is backwards, Pete.
What?
I need to point that out. Your example is backwards with the house.
That was just an idea that you had. It's like atmospheric.
Well, can you acknowledge that it was a bad idea?
No. I still maintain the same. You'll have a slightly different pressure at your ceiling than you will have at the ground. Just based on, again, it's water everywhere, so it's just based on
air is not water, Pete.
In my own, we live under a magnetic electromagnetic field. It's a barrier. It's holding back the waters beyond, and because we're placed within it, and we have a certain position within it, we're under a certain force. This is why down is down across the Earth.
And you can't show any evidence for that. You can't back that up. You can't support your assertion in any way, shape, or form. This is just something that you've chosen to believe for various reasons, whatever you want, and you can just say it, and therefore it's
I'm happy with that.
It's true to you. Yeah. Well, that's a great standard of evidence, Pete.
Well, I just asked you. Okay, well, I just see you're not the reason you have to get to this stage in the first place is because all the questions that I've asked, they haven't been answered. I've asked you a very simple question. You made the equation between a plane, right, and the Earth. You made the equation, right? I didn't, right? So within the plane, we can say that the drone equates to a helicopter on Earth. The atmosphere, you're saying the atmosphere on Earth won't equate to the air or the atmosphere within the plane itself. You're not going to allow that equation, are you? So what are you saying? You're making the analogy in the first place. So I'm asking you, there are three components, right? There's the drone, there's the atmosphere in which it floats around within the plane. It has to hover on air, right? And then there's the container, right? So can you make the equation between globe Earth and the example that you brought up? I didn't bring it up. And you brought it up because you have to explain why the atmosphere travels with the Earth, why the two planes will arrive back at the same point in the example given, or the question posed. So yeah, can you make that equation? That's my question. What represents the boundary within the drone and the atmosphere within the plane is confined? What's the counterpart on the Earth? That's what I'm asking you. It's a simple question.
Well, the answer is simpler than your question. You refuse to accept it.
Go.
Now, the drone is sitting there on the floor of the airplane. It's traveling at the speed of the airplane. Now, according to what the flat earthers are saying about this, they mock the idea that you can leave the surface of the Earth and continue moving at the speed that you were traveling on the Earth.
Right.
Now,
okay, Kirk.
In the airplane, you see this would be clearly demonstrated. You're not arguing against my point, right?
No. Okay.
Are you claiming that the drone would get slammed against the back wall?
Okay, let me ask you the same. Okay, let me ask you the same question again, right?
Can you answer?
The helicopter now is on the Earth. It's on the ground. So just like the drone is on the floor of the airplane, the Earth is the floor of the airplane, right? And the helicopter is on the ground. The atmosphere is the atmosphere in both cases. What is the upper limit of the Earth, right? There's an upper limit of the drone, which is the top of the airplane. What's the upper limit of the Earth? This is what I'm asking you.
How far can the helicopter ascend before the air is no longer dense enough to support ascending?
Well, how far can the drone ascend? The drone can only ascend until it meets the barrier, isn't it? The obstacle at the...
Because the airplane actually has a barrier.
Right. So what is the barrier?
The helicopter is not going to fly up and bump into a dome and go boom.
No. So what is the barrier, the containment above the helicopter? If the equation is sound, right?
Air density. I've already told you. Why do you continue to ask a question when I just answered it?
So there's no barrier above then. That's what you're saying. It's just purely atmosphere, air density, and the barrier below.
You're not going to bump into a dome, no.
So it's not a good equation then you're making, right?
No, mine is fine. You have trouble following. See, you're asserting that there's something up there that must contain the atmosphere of the Earth, as if vacuum exerts a force that would suck away atmosphere.
Does a magnetic field exert a force?
You guys straw man like crazy with this. There's nothing in the globe model that says the vacuum.
You're the guy who works in teams, Curve. I do what I do on my own. You work in teams.
I'm here by myself, and I don't work for the church, Pete.
Well,
now,
I think you all do.
If you're going to insist that I do, I would ask you to suggest a good lawyer for me so I can sue and collect some back pay. Because if I've been working for the church not knowing it and not getting paid, I think I deserve some money, don't I?
So why you brought this up now? We were talking about something else, but that's a good diversion.
Yeah, I brought that up because I'm kind of sick and tired of you running around shooting your mouth off, slandering people with no freaking evidence whatsoever.
Who else am I slandering that you don't like?
The people that you name claiming that they work for the church.
I don't know who you are, man. I've never seen your face. I have no name. You could be an old granny and a voice changer, right?
Then why do you claim I work for the church?
I think you all work for the church ultimately.
Then why do you say that? You don't know me. You don't know who I am. You know nothing about me, Pete. Why do you say such things?
Because I can, right?
It's because you're detached from reality. But let's get back to the debate about the atmosphere and all. How about that?
Oh, that's fine. I didn't use. You're the one that switched it, man. You're the one that brought it in the church. I was talking about the fucking plane.
Well, actually, you're the one that brought it up.
No swearing, please.
Not here in the
No
debate,
swearing.
but you've been running your mouth about that crap for a while, and I'm sick of it. So I thought I'd bring it up when it popped in my
You can
mind.
be sick of what you like. You're not sick of coming back in, day out, going over the same points again and again. It's a definition of insanity in one sense, isn't it?
I'm hypnotized.
Trying to expect a different change and a different result by doing the same thing.
What are you doing, Pete? What are you doing?
Me? I've come a long way.
Yeah. So touche. You know, knock it off. Were you saying something?
No,
Nathan?
no. You said touche, Miche. Miche. Well, yeah, I've come a long way in my own thinking, but I'm trying to get you. I'll move on to another. I have a different question for you? But
why don't we finish up with the atmosphere? Because you seem to have a really hard time grasping this.
No, I'll tell you what's going on, but I'll tell you exactly from my reckoning, what's going on. But you're not going to bother with it, are you? We're under a magnetic field, as I told you. Everything has been pushed down. That's why we have a cloud layer. If we could dig a hole about 10 miles down and jump in, then you would come to your own null point within this magnetic field. That's what I think.
And so if you dug it 10 miles, 10 and a half miles, you would sit there just hovering about a half a mile above the bottom of the hole, you say.
Before you answer that, I'm really sorry to interrupt, guys. We've been joined by Truth Seeker. Good to have you here, Truth Seeker.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's, I mean, we can't do that, right? Although the deepest hole, let's say, is 8 miles. We can't do that, but that's my reckoning anyway. It might
Good choice going with 10 miles then. Kudos to you for that. Good choice going with 10 miles. We're just,
just roughly,
derping out 10 miles. Do you have any mathematics to support your assertion that this null point is 10 miles below the surface?
So did you see? Okay, so did you see this?
Oh, you have no answer for that, do you?
No, that's my own thought about it, right? I mean, I can't prove it.
Right, it's just a whim.
Right. So can you prove that the Earth has a core, a molten iron core?
Can you answer the question? Where did you come up with 10 miles, Pete? What mathematical support? What logical support do you have for that figure of roughly 10 miles?
Right, because one point of, who knows whether it is true or not, but 8 miles, there's that 8 figure again. 8 miles was the deepest hole ever drilled, apparently, right?
Okay.
Somewhere in Russia.
Yeah, so go 2 miles deep to cover your ass, right? Is that what you're saying?
Right. So I'm saying, as opposed to
it can't be tested,
or thousands of miles, it's going to be in that sort of low number. That's all.
Right. Well, if 8 miles deep is much closer to the null point than 10 miles, and then the surface of the Earth is, then why at 8 miles would something which is actually closer to the center of mass and feel a little bit more of the force of gravity, why would it technically weigh more and feel more force when it's reaching the null point? Why would it actually be heavier than if it were on the surface or closer to the source of the electromagnetic repulsion that you claim is the barrier that is pushing the atmosphere?
Okay, hang on. Okay.
Yeah. Why is the air denser near the surface than near the source of the electromagnetic repulsion, which is going to weaken by the cube of the distance?
The source is in the north center, right? That's where the field is generated from. And it's close as well. The barrier is close. This is where we get the northern lights and the southern lights, right? And we're in a bi-barrier system, a two-ball system. It's a broken system. So that barrier begins low in the north, rises higher at the equatorial areas, and lower again at the peripherals. Now, a magnetic field will have a certain strength, right? It's like we can equate it with pushing two magnets together. The closer two south poles together, the greater the force of repulsion. But that force will be affected, as you say, by that distribution equation. So this is the point, right? This is the whole point. We're under this. We're under this field. We're under this effect. and everything has been pushed towards its own particular null point, depending on density and buoyancy. And this is where the gradients come in within the atmosphere. This is where the different pressures come in. And remember, we're in a dynamic system, so it's a constant sort of motion, and you have this powerful energy, a broken energy. I don't think this is the way it was set up in terms of the sun coming around, just disturbing everything, burning its way through everything, like as it makes its daily trip. And I also think that light is an effect, not a cause in itself. So I talked about that before with you. Just the water, it's all about water particulation everywhere. But yeah, these are, if you want to, Phuket Word posted a video, I can't remember how long ago, a few months ago anyway, but pretty much showing, I think it was back in the 1970s in a French laboratory, they had just some sort of a spherical magnetic field set up, and they would throw all of these organic things. They threw a frog in, a strawberry into the field. No matter where they threw it in, right, they went to a sort of a center. So we talk about the null point. They went to a central point where it just floated around, you know. So that's the idea.
Pete, you're well aware of the fact that diamagnetic repulsion that was exhibited in that had a ridiculously strong field.
Right.
Something that would be it was easily measurable in the experiment. And if something of that magnitude were in effect, would be trivial to measure. It would have all kinds of effects on the world around us that we do not see.
I have it. I got you. I got you. What did you say? If this effect was in play, it would be trivial to measure, right? And you're saying it can't be measured, right?
I'm telling you that we don't witness this. We cannot measure this. Right. No, it's not there. Right. It's not there, Pete.
So here's my question. Here's my gotcha.
In your mind.
Here's my gotcha, man.
Place
everywhere on the earth, something works, right? And it points, it indicates that there is this strong field in operation. And you know what that thing is?
The magnetic field of the Earth is ridiculously weak. It's weaker than a refrigerator magnet. You're talking about the magnetic field that compasses operate on.
Right.
It's ridiculously weak.
But hang on, what do you mean ridiculously? How strong do you need it to be?
Strong enough to have the effects.
Hang on, if it was part of a natural environment, right? If this is all we ever knew, it would measure as a baseline 0, pretty much, right? Because
no, Pete.
What we measure against are a natural sort of condition.
No,
we measure against standard temperature and pressure, right? That's because that is the normal. So yeah, we're measuring against a normal rate. And if you say this is ridiculously weak force, right?
Yes,
still a force nonetheless.
Very weak. Not it doesn't have anywhere near the strength that you're proposing of like the.
Why do we have a cloud layer? Why is the cloud layer where the cloud layer is?
Where should
Why is it located? Pressure.
Where should it be?
This is what I'm asking you. Where should it be? I'm saying I know where it should be. It should be where it is based on we're within a contained boundary, which is exerting an electromagnetic field over the Earth.
Okay. What is the height of the cloud layer, Pete?
It varies, right? It varies. It's from
the magnetism. Does it vary based upon variances in this electromagnetic field that you're pretending exists?
I'm pretending exists. Okay. Does it vary? Well, it does. There's 3 factors in play. You have this constant electromagnetic field, right? Again, to make the equation with the frog, if you push the frog towards the bottom or the top, you've seen this experiment. I couldn't find that video again, actually. You've seen this curve. So if you put, no matter where you put the frog in, they go to a null point in the center, right across halfway. This is observable. It's repeatable. So same thing is happening at such a much larger scale on Earth. But you see, there's a distinction between water particulates and something as dense as a strawberry is what they threw in, for instance. We're more solid, we're denser. That's why I say if you dug a hole and made it 10 miles or whatever, and we jumped it, we'd find a null point down there. Whereas water particulates,
saying that.
Hang on, they find their null point up at this cloud layer, and that can vary, you know, a good few miles just above our heads.
What?
All
Why?
of Pete's points are pure speculation without like any. He hasn't provided any proof for his claims.
And never will.
Well, hang on? What's your claim? Truth? Are you on Curve's side here in terms of the airplane Earth analogy?
Oh yeah, totally. I did this. I've done the same experiment myself with drones. And anybody else who's done the experiment themselves will come to a similar conclusion.
So what's the? Are you? I thought I heard you yesterday. Were you not a flat earther? No.
I'm just a reality person. I don't label myself into any kind of black and white box.
So what shape is the Earth you live on? Okay, what shape is the Earth you live on then?
What changes my what?
What shape is the Earth you live on?
I don't know what shape the Earth is, but I know it's not a spherical curve, or at least of the current size that's being spoon-fed to us.
So what is it then?
I don't know what it is, and I'm going to claim ignorance because all these people want to have circular discussions where it doesn't lead to anything. And that's becoming clear as day, is that they just want to continue these stagnant discussions that never lead to anything.
I understand that. I know this.
No, you were part of the person that's continuing the stagnation. So I don't know if you understand that.
No, I don't come in here. Why I don't come in here very often? I just said I come in today. Ask Kurt the question. Hang on. So what you're saying is you understand that it's not a spinning ball. I understand the same. But you're happy enough to just leave it there. You're not going to speculate.
No, I'm not leaving it there. I want to continue it, but I just hate seeing the same arguments spin around in circles.
Well, have you heard my arguments before?
Yes, I have.
We are now coming up on the hour mark for this debate. I hope you are all enjoying it so far. So I'll do a few links and then I'll pass you back to the action. So if you are new to this channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside the show while it is live. And if you would like to join the debate, there is a link in the info box below this video. With your watch page muted, simply click on that link to join the debate and express your views on the shape of the Earth. There are only a couple of rules in the Hangout. Number 1, please do not swear. Number 2, if you are ejected for swearing, please do not try to rejoin the show using sock accounts. And with that, as I pass back, I would ask anybody who's currently in the live audience to please share the show on social media.
Just by flying in all directions and hovering after each direction change, we can prove that it's its velocity from a supposed spin, simplifying it. So it's one of the most easiest things to debunk, and it's just crazy.
Everything measurable tells us the Earth is flat and stationary, right?
Yes, so far I agree. Yes.
So my point is, just to you for a moment, I spoke about curved before. I'm sick of catching curved out. My point to you is then, where do you go from there?
I went to horizon observations because I designed video game levels, and funny enough, when you design a video game level, it's basically a flat, and if you want it to be a closest infinite plane that you want it to be. So when you look at the weather balloon footage of people sending balloons 30, 40 miles up, and there's zero really perspective gained on the horizon, that tells me from a video game design level that can only be achieved on a level that's so close to infinite, or at least so much larger than what we're being told that the computer is projecting it as infinite.
So you're tending to go with an infinite
basically
plane,
what I'm saying is if the Earth was the size that the globe people claim it is, if you send up a weather balloon 40 miles, you're going to gain a massive vantage point on the ball. Yet when you actually look up people that send up balloons 40 miles without any wide angle lenses to add deception, there's no vantage gain. There's no curve. There's so little vantage gain that it really suggests that there's more land and oceans out there.
All right, Truth, I have to ask you a question because you're speaking as if you have knowledge of something here, but you're using figures of like 30, 40 miles. What weather balloons climb to 30 or 40 miles?
Yeah, it's 20 miles.
Whatever the one that all the flat Earth people reference, it's like 31 or 32 miles up. That I forget what the name of the cam is.
121,000 feet, which is about 24 miles, I think.
I'm pretty sure I've seen one. It's like a 31. It's claiming that it's a 31 miles.
Wow, I'd like to see.
I agree. There is an issue with trusting those just like with trusting NASA images. There's an issue with trusting all
the world record altitude for a balloon is something like 173,000 feet, and it's ridiculously expensive to do that. Just the helium alone. is outrageous. But anyway, in these balloon launch videos, you can take either one equipped with a rectilinear lens, or you can go with the fisheye lens, and you have to view that when the horizon is crossing center of frame, because even in a fisheye lens, a straight line is not distorted going through.
Yeah, Kurt, you told me that from any vantage point, water will always look plainer.
Don't change the subject, Pete.
No, I'm talking about the same subject.
No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're looking at a different aspect of things. Stop it, Pete.
Hang on, you're defending the indefensible. You're afraid to.
No, I'm not.
So before you two get into a row,
Nathan.
Sorry guys, before you get into a row, we've been joined by Lewis Hackett. Good to have you here, Lewis.
Good morning. Thank you.
Yeah.
What's funny is when you act.
No common starting point then, right? Because to my eyes, these high altitude balloons show a flat and stationary plane, right? You're saying my eyes are deceiving me, and where do you go from there?
Either your eyes are deceiving you, or your tongue is trying to deceive others right now. If you
so you're saying my eyes are seeing a curve, my brain is not connecting properly with my eyes.
No, I'm not saying that, Pete. Quit it, Pete.
Stop saying the phrase "so you're saying," because if he was saying that, those are the words you would have heard.
Don't you tell me what to say and what not to say, young man.
Okay.
Lewis will tell you anything he wants, and so will I.
Right.
You can't stop me. You're no greater authority than me.
What we're seeing. If we can't agree,
no greater authority than me, Pete. Don't put yourself above other people. If we can't agree
on what we're seeing,
so
surely there's no room for anything, any sort of development beyond there. Would you agree?
We're talking about the high altitude balloon footage right now.
Would you agree with that statement? If we can't agree on the basics in terms of what we're seeing, if I'm looking at a horse and you're looking at a mouse, we can't make any further progress from there. Would you agree with that?
It doesn't matter what people say. This is objectively demonstrable.
Let's have a look at the footage. Let's look at it right now.
Here's a question I have. At what height? Because clearly, we're just ants on a big ball. We can never see the spin. At what height is there a magical line where if you go above it, you see the spin, and if you stay below it, you don't see any spin? I want to know where that magical line is.
Well, it's not a magical line, and it's a gradual process, and eventually around, as I've said before, I can do it on an airplane. If you have a straight edge, you just stick it up to the window, and it's very small. It's a very small amount of curvature, and it's not really measurable.
Your windows are curved, man.
A method. No, they weren't, Pete.
They were not curved. It's curved outside. Everyone knows that the fuselage of a plane is curved. So if you're putting a straight edge next to a curved surface.
How many airplanes have you been on? Okay, just take my word for it, because that's what we need to do here on the debate, that the window I looked out of was not curved.
So the outside window,
and then you can see more. The higher you go from that 40,000 feet, you can see gradually more and more curvature up until when you're in the high altitude balloon range of 100 plus thousand feet.
All right,
the curvature is apparent, and you don't need a straight edge to see it at all.
I've got a point here.
Let's bring up one of these high altitude balloon footages and look at it, and then we'll be able to tell just what our eyes are seeing.
I do just want to chime in with one thing though. Sorry, Pete. Sorry, Pete. Sorry, Pete.
Mr. Know-it-all, right?
Well, I was just going to agree with you. Sorry, Pete. Sorry, Lewis. Can you just get this one thing in? Obviously, the outside of a plane window has to be curved. The thing's in a tube. It can't not be. It can't possibly be flat. I just don't understand why you would say that, Lewis. I mean, obviously it's curved.
The windows can be flat. The windows absolutely can be flat. The fuselage has to be curved for aerodynamic purposes, but
and the windows sit in the fuselage.
Yeah.
But they're put inside.
Take a cross section, man. Take a cross section of a fucking fuselage.
Yeah, I know.
Here's my language.
I've been in a lot of airplanes. I know exactly what you're talking about, and it's all possible with the window being flat.
All right, and also, rather than argue about whether airplane windows are curved a little bit or not, how about somebody out there in the flat Earth community demonstrate that while sitting on the tarmac, looking at a straight line outside the window, that the window curves that straight line? Thank you.
This is ridiculous.
That too, not a terrible assertion.
This is nonsense. It's
Yeah, this is why nobody has respect for the arguments going on, is because anytime somebody wants to stay on topic, it's constantly derailed.
Well, respect is reserved for things that you do and for people, not really arguments, but whatever.
Yeah.
so
I get it. And the constant derailing of staying on topic loses your credibility and respect.
I'm trying to bring up. I would love to look at some footage together here right now.
First of all, can you show me
high altitude balloon footage?
Can you show me any cylinder, Lewis, where you have a straight section on it? Any cylinder whatsoever?
Oh, on the cylinder?
Yeah.
On the actual physical part of the cylinder, no. But the window is not physically part of the fuselage. It's back inside a small amount.
You have two. Okay.
Whether it's curved or not,
you don't have a connected external window.
Windows curving straight lines on the ground.
Windows curved.
And all that aside, all right, get rid of the 140,000 personal example that I give for myself, all right? Ignore that one. And we can go to the high altitude balloon footage. And as I said before, the higher you go, the more dramatic the curvature becomes. That's all this is. And I really don't see what the need is to call me a smarmy little shit. And Nathan, I feel like maybe you should have caught him on that, but that's neither here nor there.
I apologize for the language anyway. That's a big restriction to put on people, Nathan, with such ridiculous stuff being thrown at us. But anyway, we can deal with it.
It's so ridiculous, this simple topic.
I mean, what do you do when you're dealing with liars, Lewis? What do you do when you know you're dealing with liars? What would you do?
You see
I take them at their word and compare what they say for consistency over time.
Okay.
And the truth comes out. It's impossible to lie, Pete.
Okay, let me ask you this question briefly then, right? Can I pose you a scenario? And this ties in with the high altitude footage, what we should expect when we look out a plane window, what we should expect the horizon level to be, right? So you're at the beach, right? You have a 5-story house on the beach, right? So just bear with me a second. Now you're at the beachfront, you're looking at a ship sailing over, you have a clear view over the ocean, right? And let's just take it in increments. You have a clear view for you. At 3 miles, we'll agree, the ship is 6 foot high. It sails out and drops 6 feet below the horizon. Would you agree with that? Right? Out of your vision, just below your, are you with me? Yeah?
More or less.
Right? Okay. So in other words, out of your vision, you'd have to point downwards to point at the center of the boat. Would you agree?
A negligible amount that you wouldn't be able to perceive.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, yes.
Now, as you make, remember you have a 4 or 5 story house. You make your way into the first level, right? And the boat just comes back into view, right? Are you with me?
Yeah.
Now, as the boat keeps sailing away, right? And you remember where you've been pointing as you had brought it back into view when you climbed upstairs again. As it sails away and it goes out of your view again, right? You will have to point further down, won't you? Beyond the horizon, because the boat is after vanishing beyond.
Yeah, but that would be a unnoticeable, negligible amount. Right. You're not really looking down in the sense like when you look at your feet.
No, it's not an unnoticeable amount if you think about it.
It is absolutely unnoticeable. I guarantee you, it's unnoticeable.
I understand what you're saying, but it's continually pointing downwards. The higher you go up, then the more you bring the boat back in, and the more it sails away, you'll have to continually point downwards.
Yeah, but it's not going to look.
So if you just expand it higher and higher, if that 4-story building becomes a 24-story or 240-story building, that boat, as you follow it, as it sails over the horizon, you'll continually point more and more down. It will never be. You'll never point across it. Never, ever, ever. This is what we're asked to believe when we go up on a high altitude balloon footage, when we see the horizon.
I don't understand the connection there between being like looking. What is the problem? Looking down.
How can the horizon?
He's proving the ball.
How can you have to point down at the horizon? The higher you rise up in terrestrial terms,
because it's lower than you.
Yeah.
Right. And as the boat sails further away, and you rise further and further up to bring it back into view, you'd have to keep pointing down and down and down.
Well, you wouldn't notice that that's what you're doing because it's such a small amount. Like it's like less than the width of your finger, man.
Can
It's
Pete
less
get
than
to the
that.
point? Can Pete get to his point? Because this is pathetic.
Okay, well, my point is made.
No, it's not.
My point is made, man.
The only thing your point is that you're arguing for the sphere and you don't even realize it. That's about the closest thing to a point that you have right now. And you claim a vanishing point. If you're down on the beach looking at something and it's gone away and you're claiming it's vanishing point, why is it that when you raise up, you can also back up and increase the distance and still see it?
Well, it's just like if
There
I'm
goes
down,
your vanishing point.
well, it's just like if I'm downstairs and I go upstairs, I can see further, right,
You're
Curve?
so illogical. For what reason?
Also, so it's again, all these basics are being denied. So it's illogical. Now, why do ships have a crow's nest, Curve? When you talked about water being
To see
planar,
over the horizon, Pete, of the curved earth.
but you said that
That's
water is
why.
planar.
I did
The water
not.
here
You're a
is planar.
liar. You're an absolute lying, smarmy shit. How's that?
See?
Fair
That's the
play. Fair
overreaction.
play, eh, Pete?
You never said water was planar.
I did not. I
said
did
what did
not.
you say?
No, you're a lying moron.
So I have,
Stop it.
I have,
Listen to Lewis.
it would be nice if we could get the same footage we were looking at yesterday up with Space is Fake and Striggy, but this is what I was able to find. And even here that you can tell that there's curvature, and this is around 75 or 80,000 feet. Would you say that you can see curvature here, Pete?
Can you play a bit before and a bit after, leading up to it, please?
I can, but right now on this frame, as it's the important one, what would you say?
No, that's just come on, man. That's
You
just
think
one
that's
frame.
flat?
Man.
Okay, all right. That's all we need. I just need to know that you think this is flat. Now, to demonstrate that this is in fact a rectilinear lens, I will go and play more of it so that you can see how it changes over time as it moves around. You can see there's no warping. It's not wobbling the landscape around, so we can tell it is in fact a normal.
Me, right? This looks completely flat to me.
Oh, it's not. It doesn't look flat to me.
And now you understand the difference between. You understand the difference between.
Let me finish the statement, please. Okay. There are multiple ways that you can tell that it's not flat, and the most interesting one to me is how the atmosphere, especially up at the top here, now that the camera's pointing up, is stratifying and becoming thinner, and even there you can see the same curve reflected in that.
Are you sure that's the atmosphere you're looking at?
Yeah. What else would it be?
Oh, well, it could be possibly, maybe some sort of a barrier. You're getting a glimpse at some sort of a contour of a barrier above.
How close do you think the moon is? Let's wait for it to come back into frame.
The barrier,
do you think that moon is inside of the barrier? You think this moon is inside of a barrier?
That's it. Where is that? Can you post that link actually in
yes.
chat? That'd be great. Yeah. Look at how small the fucking moon is.
Compared to the size of that picture frame, yeah.
Please try not to swear, please, Pete.
Because the size of the camera frame, Pete.
Sorry, Nathan. Sorry, I understand your. Okay. Look at how small the moon is.
Yeah.
I predicted that as you go higher, because the moon is a reflection. Hang on, man. I predicted. This is just something I predicted.
Well, now you can feel proud about your prediction. All right.
Well, I did predict that as you get higher. This explains why the stars disappear as well. These are all observer-dependent reflections.
Well, the stars disappear because they're whitewashed by the light coming off of the Earth, whereas at night on the ground, they're not.
Right. Here's my question to you then, right?
At night in the atmosphere, the stars do not disappear if they're not washed out by bright lights. At very high altitude, balloon footage shows that the stars are present.
That's true too. Yeah, that's true. They absolutely do.
I never talked about disappearing completely. I predicted that the moon, because it's a reflection. I said the moon is.
So what's the point then? Like, what is the big point?
My point.
There's nothing surprising about what you're saying.
Well, he's required to double talk and backpedal on it.
So no, hang on. Let me just first of all say what I predicted, that even if you timed it, you send up your balloon and a full moon at its closest approach as your balloon was at the highest point, you should expect to see the moon in all its brilliance, right? It should be massive before you. I predicted the opposite. I predicted.
Well, how much closer do you think the moon is getting when you go up above the atmosphere? It's just like the amount the horizon moves down, the distance closer to the moon you're getting is very negligible. You're not going to see an angular size change in the moon until you get, you know, much closer to it. And even that's going to be gradual. It's kind of like watching the hour hand of a clock, but, you know, 100 or 1,000 times slower.
Pete's making arguments for why we know the moon.
No. You've assumed the moon is a big ball in space. Yeah, but hang on. You've just assumed that the moon is a big ball in space, and this is what you should see.
Oh, what's wrong with that?
Well, because it's wrong. It's a lie. It's not correct.
How do you know it's a lie?
I know it is a lie.
How do you know it's a lie?
Because I found the Milky Way on the moon.
There you go.
That does not demonstrate that the moon being a ball is a lie. It demonstrates that there are similar patterns on it than in the Milky Way. That's all it means. Yes, that's all it means, Pete.
No.
It's not even true.
It's not similar.
It's not true. It is not.
Yes, it is the exact same.
Right, but even if it was true that the overlays matched up perfectly, it would still just be a kind of cool quirk. That's all it would be. I don't understand what that would prove.
Come on, Lewis.
But they don't. They don't.
Yeah, that's true.
Did you do the comparison yourself, Curved?
They don't.
No, I've seen you do the comparison, Pete.
So now, hang on, Lewis. Not only have I've done the comparison myself, it's 100% confirmed, but other people have. Have you done it, Curved?
Good grief.
Have I done what?
Right, I just asked you a simple question. The comparison. Have you done the comparison?
I've looked at yours, and you're wrong.
Right, so you've looked at mine. I say it's 100% confirmed, and I say other people have also confirmed it. I've also asked other people to go out and do it.
Who? Like who? What sort of reputable people have confirmed this? This wonderful discovery.
You're the king of crazy nonsense, man. Of course you say that.
Well, RNFE is one who's confirmed it, and we are waking up is another one.
All right, what do they do with their lives? What have they contributed to the world in astronomy and?
What have you contributed to the world, Lewis?
Well, nothing, I'd love to hear. And I'm not making radical claims about it. I'm not making radical claims about it. Everything I'm saying.
You're pushing lies. You're hurting children, right? Nathan's child there, right? Beautiful Eleanor.
Excuse me, Pete. Excuse me. Say that one more time. I didn't hear it quite right. Say that again.
You're hurting children. If you are genuine in what you're doing, I've got to know you're acting a part, right? I know you're playing.
I would like you to apologize right now.
Never.
You don't know what you're
doing.
What you're doing is you're pushing lies.
You know nothing, Pete.
Take that statement back right now.
It's the truth.
No. You're pushing lies, man. And anyone pushing lies.
I'm not pushing lies. Pete, I am not pushing lies.
Yes, you are. Prove the earth moves, then.
Pete, if you keep this up, one day I will sue you for character defamation.
Character defamation.
I will. Okay, if you keep this up, I will do it. I will serve you.
Right, I'll say it again. You're hurting children by pushing the lies that you're pushing.
All right, keep building that case. Keep building the case.
You're hurting children by pushing the lies that you're pushing.
Real quick.
All right, now let's go back. Let's go back to the debate.
Real quick. I had a famous debate with Trevor. I forget his name. He's always on Discovery Channel. And he's a famous paleontologist. He's always defending the globe.
There are no famous paleontologists.
No, I know one personally, Matt Lamana, and I've worked.
That doesn't mean he's famous.
No, because you questioned my credibility yesterday. I've actually interned at the Carnegie Museum. I have Matthew Lamana, who is the large vertebrate paleontologist of Carnegie Museum, in my phone right now. I can call him and probably even get him on here.
Great. So, I mean, but what would that help? I mean, we still haven't yet.
Well, okay. Here, I haven't really gotten.
I think it would be better to get a different, higher altitude balloon footage to look at the curvature. I think that would be a better use.
Real quick, when I would have debates with him, he would constantly use that same argument. I'm going to sue you for character defamation. I'm going to sue you for character defamation.
When you tell someone that they're spreading lies and they're not, that's what that
happens is a lot of the claims
have to prove.
Well, a lie is when you have knowledge. A lie is when you have knowledge of it. Pete, would you let me please say that? Pete, hold on one moment. When you lie, you have knowledge of the truth and are replacing it with something else and pushing that forward. So a lie is a conscious act. All right. This is what I believe. All of the things I've told you, all of the lies, as you call them, they're not lies because I don't have another truth that I'm using those lies
on your soul?
to
Will you
cover
swear
up.
on your very soul right now?
Their truth. Just
yeah, Pete.
from a book.
Okay, Lewis, I'll ask you to do that. Swear on your very soul as true as the creator's your witness.
I don't need to, but I will for you since you put so much stock in words.
Yes, okay. Let me phrase it correctly then, the way that there can't be any room for misunderstanding. Although I'm loath to do this. I'm loath to have you swear on something, man, because you're sort of putting you in a spot.
You're loath to begin with, but that's just an opinion.
That's fine, man. That's fine. You're willing to swear then on your very existence that everything that you are saying to the best of your knowledge is the truth.
Yes, absolutely.
So, okay, I guess you want to do that?
Yes, absolutely.
No, you haven't done that, Lewis. You haven't actually sworn.
Does he have to
I swear that every single point that I've brought up in every single debate that I've ever had, to the best of my knowledge, was the truth.
Okay, man. I mean,
that one might beat you in a little bit. That one's gonna burn you in a couple months.
I'm gonna have to accept that, man. I'm gonna have to accept that.
Yeah, I guess so.
Right. Can I ask you, Lewis, then? I mean, I can't. That's your own self. If you're lying, that's your own self. You have to deal with.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So I don't know why you'd be so worried about it.
Okay. Can I ask you then? What overwhelming piece of evidence have you that has overridden everything you've learned from birth in terms of trusting your senses, that has told you that the earth is moving, that the earth is moving one iota? What piece of evidence?
I know. Me and you both have problems with the same type of thing. Is that these people get a pass just because they read it from a book of people that have fake credibility, that they don't have to defend any of their beliefs. So science has become a scientism where these guys are believing blind faith dogmas, kind of like charlatans from churches, and that's all they have. All they have is charlatans.
Right. So the number one, I'm going to go ahead and interrupt you because you're rambling on and doing more character defamation and slander about people you haven't met and don't know. But
I know enough.
The number one thing that demonstrates that there's motion, regardless of where it is, because that's a separate thing. There is motion, and you can tell because when you look at the sky, it's moving. And so when you have two objects, truth, can you let me finish? So when you have when you have two objects moving, that means, or when you see an object moving, that means one of two things, or one of three things. Either that object's moving,
right?
Either you're moving, or either both of you are moving.
Yes.
That's what it means.
Right.
So by looking at the sky and the various things that are moving in the sky, we've been able to deduce through deduction and induction, through processes using math, that we are in fact moving, and we can calculate down to the speed that the surface of the Earth is rotating.
Starting premise. That is the starting premise, that we are moving. You didn't deduce that we were moving. You had the initial premise.
There are three options there, and so using a process of elimination, we eliminate the other two options.
No, Lewis. No.
And the answer is actually that we are both moving.
Newton started by assuming movement of the Earth, but the stars were fixity. Einstein then assumed movement of the Earth and the stars.
They aren't me. Those people are not me. You asked me.
Right. But you're parroting those ideas.
About me.
Again, the assumption was that the Earth is moving. So how have you shown the Earth to be moving? You already brought these people in.
The motion of celestial bodies.
No, that just proves one thing is in motion, right?
Or it proves that you're both in motion. There's three options. It doesn't.
But how does it prove?
It does not necessarily prove that we are moving, but it does. We being moving is one of the three options that it must.
So how do we decide which is which?
You use a process of elimination with the other things in the sky that are moving as well.
How? I mean,
Louis, please explain to us how you go about doing that. I would love to hear your process.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So
how did you decide which one to go with?
So the first thing is sunrise and sunset. So you have the sun moving overhead throughout the day, and then it goes beneath the horizon, and then it comes back up over the horizon on the opposite side. That's peculiar. It does that every day. It does that every single day.
Goes beneath the horizon, Lewis.
Well, yes, it does. So the sun goes past the horizon and disappears. It's obscured from point of view. And just like with the boat, you can take, if you hurry, you can take an elevator up a skyscraper and watch it again. I've done it. And then it comes after a specific amount of time that takes virtually the same amount of time every single day. Every single day, it comes back up on the other side. And then it does it again in a very predictable and consistent amount of time. It does that every single day.
Okay.
Assuming what you said is correct, here's a major issue, because Earth in the globe model, space is ever expanding and Earth's position is ever changing in an expanding
the solar
spot.
system is not ever expanding, and the galaxy we're in is not ever expanding. It's the space, but it's intergalactic space.
Oh, so the motion is relative. Everything is relative, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And that's why you get the three options. The reason the relativity is the reason you get the three options when you see something moving. Either it's moving, you're moving, or you're both moving.
Right. Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen?
I can.
Okay, lovely. Sorry, here we go. Yeah. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah.
Right. This is very simple. This is very clear and precise, Lewis. You say the sun goes below the horizon, right? Let me just play this for a second.
Yep.
This is just a sunrise. Is it sunrise or sunrise at Myrtle Beach?
Well, play the whole thing. Play the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm just giving you. This is just an example, right?
So, yeah, but I humored you with the high altitude balloon footage.
Okay,
Restart this video.
Show you. So I'm just pausing at a certain point, right? I just want to show you what you're seeing at sunrise and sunset is the same thing, and you're saying that the sun is disappearing below the horizon, right?
Yeah, and reappearing above it. Yeah.
Right. So here we go. You're looking at the sunrise. This is what you see. I'll just play this for a second. This is the sun coming into view now and gradually changing. Right. Now let me just pause it there. As you're looking,
back up, Pete.
Yeah, back up.
What are you afraid to show?
Nothing. Where do you want me to go to?
I want to see the sunrise, Pete.
Oh, the very start.
Beginning, yeah.
Okay, 1 minute. Well, let me just comment on this first of all. You can see the mirroring line, right? You can see the mirroring line right across here.
Yep.
Right? You can see that, and everything below this mirroring line and between that mirroring line and this false horizon is a mirror of everything above it, right? Or up to about here.
Yeah.
Right. So we bear that in mind. I don't mind playing this. No problem at all. This is Karen B's video. Hope you don't mind, Karen. I think this is I don't know if it's Creative Commons or whatever, but there's no sound to it. So here we go. Yeah. Let me play that.
Where's the sun, Pete?
Okay, hang on. The sun is coming into view.
Right, but
this is not the horizon.
At this moment in time, where is it?
Where is it?
Okay. All right. Okay.
Where is it?
It's beyond. It's okay. This mirror line, right?
I don't care about your mirror line. Where is the sun?
Hang on, man.
Where is the sun? Where is the sun? Shut your mouth and I'll explain.
Might learn something.
Not from you, I won't.
Yeah,
well, shut your mouth then.
The important thing for the sunrise and sunset is that before the sun comes up, it's beneath the horizon.
No, hang on, Lewis.
Yep.
Remember that mirror?
All right, then what is your alternative explanation for that? This ought to be good.
I'm giving it now, and you might learn something, man. Right?
Yeah, I can't wait.
Right, when you look out from your observation point of view, this is what appears to you as being the horizon. It's not. The actual horizon is up along here. So when you look out, you're seeing to this point reality, but up to this point, it's a reflection of what's above. So the sun is behind that mirror. It's literally a mirror layer that can extend for many miles, right?
So if I were to go out into the ocean, are you saying I should be running into mirrors eventually?
But just before you answer that, Pete, sorry, we've been joined by Nichio Snows. I just wanted to say a quick hello, if I may. How you doing?
Yep. How we doing, guys?
Hey, Nichi.
Not too bad at all. You okay?
You understand how water and light interact? Have you ever seen a puddle, Lewis?
Hey, Pete.
Yeah, I have. And I'm starting to question whether you understand that process.
I'm looking at a cloud very close to the water line there, and I'm wondering how high you're claiming this mirror is.
Yeah. Right above your cursor at this moment, there is a cloud. What's going on there with the mirror line?
Okay, that's true.
Where is that reflected?
Let's play it a small bit. That's the sun.
Did I
Oh,
catch
that's
you
kind
out?
of funny.
Can I
Did I
interject
catch you out
something?
again, Pete? Well, where's the mirroring?
Hilarious. That would have been.
Where's the mirroring then?
Where's the mirroring, Pete?
Same case.
Hey, real quick, can I bring up a thing about perspective in the sun? There's a simple experiment that anybody
Make it
can do.
truthful.
Hey, it is truthful. Okay, so if you take about like a 30 or 20 foot long surface, okay, like a countertop at like a mall or something that's 20 feet long, and you keep a light at the same elevation, and you keep a camera on the surface of the table, and you move that light at the same elevation above the camera, at some point, due to perspective, it appears that the light sets below the countertop, even though in reality it's still in elevation above the camera lens. But it appears
I've
to
done
set.
that experiment before, and no, it doesn't. And also something
Yes, it
important,
does.
and also
You're just being
something else,
willfully
and also more importantly, that light changes angular size as you move away from it, which does not happen here. In fact, the reverse seems to happen here. It almost seems like at near the horizon, the sun is larger, and that's when it's the furthest away from you in your point of view.
Right. Now,
But how the why in the simple experiments is a light that is physically above the table appear to set below the table. How does that happen?
It doesn't.
That
doesn't happen.
No, I've done it.
I have done what you're talking about. I've done what you're talking about with longer than a 20 or 30 foot table. I've used.
Dishonest.
No, it's not, man. I already swore on my life earlier. You know, you're the one
Yeah,
with
you
the
don't have much
devil
life
as an
left to swear
avatar.
on.
Yeah. You don't have your
Why
real
don't
name
you
up
link
here.
it?
Like I have no anonymity here. I have
Why are we
complete
trusting a food delivery guy service to be an expert opinion and divulger of this information? Why are we
trusting you?
I mean,
this video.
Because I'm
Why don't you link
showing
it?
an objective ability to analyze the results and actually move the discussion forward. You guys are doing everything but that.
Why don't you link the video for scrutiny?
Yeah, link that.
Hey guys, newsflash! I'm working a job right now. I'm actually driving.
So go work your job, man. If I were paying somebody and they were on a debate at work, I'd fire their ass.
Louis, when you do something in the real world with a master's degree, I'm making $54 an hour right now to bullshit with you guys. It feels great.
Nice.
Well,
then
you know,
make
for what it's worth,
$54 an hour linking your video.
You should go provide the service that you're being paid to provide.
I'm an inspector, and I can kind of do whatever I want. That's a good thing about being inspectors. I watch other people work.
That's fantastic. Can you link a video? Do you know how to link a video?
That's why you can't communicate beyond a certain level. Can I just ask, Lewis, what are we seeing here, Curved and Lewis? Is this the sun? Well, I've got to play it a bit more. But is this the whole sun that we're seeing?
No, it's just part of it. Where's the rest of it? Where's the rest of it?
But hang on, you're saying that this is all...
No, you hang on. Where's the rest of the sun?
This is sunrise, man. So I'm asking
you,
where
is the rest of the sun? Is it just too far away to see?
It's a perspective law. It's a perspective law where the sun is actually above the horizon, but due to your limited view, it appears as if it's lower.
Yeah, but why is it so big? Why is the sun so big rather than why doesn't the sun disappear to a vanishing point?
This up, right? Let me talk
uniformly.
I'm asking you, what are you looking at here? I'm asking you, are you looking at the water horizon here, and this whole body is the sun? Is this what you're saying?
That's part of the sun. That's the very top of it.
No, it isn't, Lewis. Now you'll make out the mirror line again.
Yes, it is.
Hang on, stop contradicting and stop interrupting.
I'm not contradicting. This is my point of view, and you're trying to correct my point of view, which I'm not going to let you do because my point of view is correct.
Right, hang on. I'm going to prove it to you now. So if you're mistaken...
That's not the top of the sun, Pete.
Shut up, Curved. Will you admit...
Is that not the top of the sun? You said it was not the top of the sun.
Okay, so while these guys are in a bit of a back and forth saying yes it is, no it isn't, yes it is, no it isn't, I'm going to do a few links. So first and foremost, I hope you're all enjoying the debate. If you would like to support this channel, be sure to hit that super chat that runs alongside the show while it is live. And if you would like to join the panel, there is a link in the info box below this video with the page that you are currently watching on mute. Simply click that link to join the show and express your views on the shape of the earth. There are only a couple of rules in the Hangout. Number one, please do not swear. And number two, if you do, please do not try to rejoin the show if you are kicked. And with that, I will pass you back to the action once more. If you are not subscribed to this channel already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. This show will run for about another 20 minutes.
actually is.
And what about the bottom
But
part?
that's
here?
not. That's. I don't see what the issue is there.
What about the bottom part here then?
What about it?
It's a
Let's divide
reflection
this
of the
into-
very top peaking part of the sun. But that's
Where-
both
Let's
in both cases, that is the very top of the sun.
Is this
That
Where
light
is
is
the bottom of
shining
the
from the
sun?
very top of the
Is
sun.
this the water horizon line here?
Where is the bottom of the sun, Pete? Where's the
Man,
rest of the sun?
Nathan, it's getting very difficult to refrain from using language. I'm asking these clowns,
Why?
is this the horizon line that you would identify here?
Sure.
Hey, it matters.
so you're
not to
saying
me
that
for
literally
this. Where's
this is
the
all
bottom of
the-
the sun, Pete?
Curves, can you stay out of this a minute, please?
No. Where's the bottom of the sun, Pete?
I'm
That's
asking
the
you
point.
so, Curve, is this the water, the horizon line here?
We'll take it one step at a time. Yep, we see the horizon line. It kind of is a
Asking
little
Curve, is this the
insulting that
horizon
you are
line?
going into this depth of analysis with such a simple thing, but you know, we are talking about the shape of the earth here, so I got to take it with
Hey,
a lot of seasoning.
Real quick, I think we need a disclaimer here because this isn't necessarily a true debate because it seems like one side, the flat earth side, really wants to have a debate and the globe side really doesn't.
Well,
And this
that's
is
just
a-
your opinion, man.
But this is a well-known thing. This is
It's a
kind of-
bad
this is-
one.
Let me just say this disclaimer to people listening. I would say the globe side isn't trying to win the argument. They're just trying to steer
I don't
people
think
that are in
you're
the
trying to
middle
win the
away
argument.
from
Hey,
discussing.
Truth,
I don't think you even
Listen,
understand the
Truth,
argument.
every single time
clearly-
you've
you're
opened your
clearly-
mouth, it's been to slander and do character
Truth.
defamation to people you don't know and haven't
Hey,
met
Lewis,
and can't
Lewis,
possibly know their minds.
Lewis, the sun is a sausage, right? Curved. The sun is a sausage, right?
No, that's the
That's the point,
top.
Pete. Where
That's
is the
top
rest
of the
of the sun?
That's the top
Hang
of
on.
the sun.
It's
Why
clear
can't
though,
you address
the
that,
people that are
Pete?
defending the
How-
globe don't have any desire to move it forward, and it seems like they
We're
just
moving
wanna
it forward right
dissuade
now,
people
Truth.
Why
who
are
are
we
on
here,
the
Truth?
fence.
Truth,
Where is
you're
the
making
rest
the
of the
claim.
sun,
Truth, you've just made the claim that we have no desire to move this forward. Why are we here
Hey,
then?
Lewis,
We're
where
trying
does the
to.
how does the sun curve in at the
Keep it
bottom here? Can you
stagnant.
see it? How does the sun curve in at the bottom if we're seeing all the sun? See the curve here at the bottom as well. The sun is a sausage, right?
Pete, who cares about your mirror reflection?
I care,
layer?
man. I care. And
What
I don't
if-
care for
okay.
talking to you either.
I
So
don't,
you have-
I don't
Lewis,
see
at
what
least
this.
one thing I'd
what
say
this
about Lewis
proves.
as opposed to you.
We give you
get
the
some
mirror.
sense out of him, and I'm
You
hoping
can have your
that-
mirror,
I'm
Pete.
hoping that
Where's the bottom of the
he,
sun?
when he accepts he's wrong, that he will admit it. Now,
So
Where
will
is
other
the bottom of the
Pete,
sun?
Pete, so will other people. And just because
Oh.
you forced me to say that I would admit when I was wrong, just for your own peace of mind, that doesn't mean other people will not also do that. You
I'm
should
sure I
extend
don't
the
force you to do
same.
anything,
You should
Lewis.
extend the same courtesy to them.
Sure, and
Pete.
I'm sure I don't force you to do anything.
Show
You're
me
right,
the
you
bottom of
don't.
the sun.
Right, the bottom of the sun. I'm asking you, right? I can tell you where the bottom of the sun is.
Where is
Please
it?
do.
Just touch it an eye a little. Anyway,
Where is it?
right,
Where is it, Pete?
Lewis? Are you telling me that this is the sun? How can the sun curve in at the bottom here then? If this is the
Because
sun,
of the refractive layer, the mirror layer that
Right,
you're
well, I'm
talking
telling
about.
you-
That's literally the effect it has. And if you don't
Right,
think
the
that's
bottom
the
of the
effect it
sun
has, then I
is-
question your ability to judge.
Why is the rest of the sun below it, Pete?
right? Again,
I want to know who gave Louis all this authority to question
Shut your
people's
mouth,
judgment.
man.
Well, I'm
Shut your mouth.
alive, so I can.
Shut
That's
your
all
mouth.
it comes down to.
Sorry,
Louis.
Eleanor. Shut your mouth.
Who are you
Here's the
telling to
mirroring
shut
line
their
going all
mouth?
the way across. Right? Shut your mouth, curved. Here's the
Shut
mirroring
your
line going
mouth.
all the way across.
Well, okay.
All the way
What does a
across.
mirror
Right,
do?
right.
Pete,
Shut
what
your
does a
mouth,
mirror
man.
do?
Right, a mirror
What does a mirror
reflects,
do?
right? A mirror reflects.
Right. So if the top of the sun is curved, wouldn't the reflection likewise be curved?
It is, man.
Yeah.
So
So
what's
what's
your
the
point,
problem?
Pete?
So, if I wish I had was in paint here, if you draw a line between this across the screen between this point all the way along here,
Okay.
right? The top of it is the actual sun as we're seeing it. Everything below that is a reflection of the top of it,
Well,
Okay.
right? You get it?
So
where is
Yes.
the rest
So
of the
that's
sun?
where the bottom of the sun is. That's where the sun appears from. It doesn't come
Where
from
is
below
the rest of the
horizon.
sun?
So
Where
you
is
think
the rest
you
of
think
the
the
sun?
sun is materializing out of this mirror layer?
Down.
That's
This
a
is
few
water
miles
that
away.
You're looking at over an acute angle, and when light is introduced to water, you have reflective conditions. So what you're
Pete.
actually seeing is a vast area
Yeah.
of water that is behaving
Lewis.
like a mirrored plane.
Louis, he takes all day to argue for this mirror layer. So
No,
if he has his mirror layer, what can he do with it?
Look at it. Let's tell me what we're seeing, please.
Pete is arguing that the horizon is actually higher than what we think it is by the water line in the picture. Now,
yeah, I know. And it's
okay, so if we give that to him, what does he do with it?
Right. Well, it doesn't help in any way because it comports with the globe. Like that's exactly what we should see on the globe. I don't understand.
Man. And Nathan, you're facilitating this, man. And whatever it's about, you're going to get, well, I've heard a few ideas, but you're going to get yourself a bad name. Not that you care about this, but you're facilitating this nonsense.
Pete, why is the vast majority of the sun not visible in this image?
And I happen to think that they might be playing a greater game and engaging in a nobler line.
Of course.
But these people are dangerous, and they're dangerous to the health and welfare.
Dangerous.
Not just their fellow man, all of the innocent children as well.
Pete, I'd like you to spell out the
okay, so now we have the sun is a big sausage, everybody. The sun is a big sausage.
We're not saying that, Pete. You are. Are you telling us we're seeing the entirety of the sun? We're not.
We're
not saying we're seeing it.
No, I told you what you're seeing, Curve. Can you tell me what you think I'm telling you?
Not even half, Pete. Not even half.
Of the sun.
This is just going in circles. This is a joke. This is a joke of a discussion and debate.
In circles.
You guys should be ashamed.
So why are you here, Truth? If it's a joke, why associate yourself?
I'm trying to bring the train back on the rails.
But again, you're facilitating this.
I'm actually here
to
bring the train back on the railroad tracks.
Now we're going full speed ahead.
Look at the mirror. Look at the mirror line. Look at the mirror and the sun. Look at the mirror and the sun melding into one another. So you get this illusion.
You just admitted your motives, bro.
Yeah, this is exactly what we should see. I don't,
Your order here.
Pete's arguing against himself.
I don't know. Keep playing.
Here, let's look up some images that actually prove something. Go look up the Nikon 900 lens images of stars, moons, and planets, and let's see if they match what NASA's been feeding us.
Well, NASA has much better cameras than the P900.
What's going on here, Lewis? What's going on here?
Let's just look up the Nikon P900 footage. Let's just see what that looks.
Out of focus images. Out of focus images. You're a fool.
Look at the little elephant, Eleanor. It's a little elephant on the water.
Images. Truth.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
The stars that he's talking about. Where is the rest of the sun?
No, it's not.
Why is the bottom of the sun so far away that we can't see it, but the top of the sun
is
visible?
It's a perspective law that anybody can test.
That is perspective, dude. Clown, quit acting like you know what perspective is.
There you go.
I know what perspective is. If you keep a light at the same elevation and move it away from you, it appears to set below a surface, even though it's never gone physically below the surface.
It shrinks uniformly as it moves away.
Employed by the church.
People around you at your work? Do you have people around you at your work? You should go ask them that same exact question. Any one of them.
Oh, let's go ask a whole bunch of uncollege educated people what they think about it.
Yeah, because they'll disagree with you. How's that going to make you feel? How's that going to make you feel that they're going to say the exact same thing?
I don't suffer from herd mentality. I can think independently and objectively and not have to worry about what people think.
You don't even know what perspective.
Yeah, but you're thinking incorrectly, though. You are thinking independently and on your own, but you're incorrect.
I appreciate your concern and opinion, but I know you're wrong.
Right, I'm just going to keep talking. I'm going to keep talking. Anyone who's listening, you can see here that there's a mirroring effect.
You keep bringing this argument down to something stupid.
Shut your mouth, ignoramuses. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth, liars.
Hey, real quick,
you have no business standing in the same.
You know the way the intelligence community controls debates. They have people on both sides. They have dummies playing flat earthers, and then they have smart people playing globe earthers. And you keep making these stupid arguments that aren't going to bring anything forward. I have a feeling there's some controlled opposition.
It's ridiculous.
Right? Anyone who's listening,
we live in a society with free speech and freedom of thought, right? Why wouldn't you expect?
I'll explain exactly what's going on. Anyone who's interested, you have this mirrored water. This is water, remember. You have light. We can't see this mirrored water layer. Right, because of
you can. We're looking at it right now. It's a direct reflection of what's above it.
Hang on, please. We can make it out though when there is contrast, like we're seeing now. You can see a line. We'll go across where my cursor is, which will divide. That's why we have a vertical point here. Everything above this line is. Hang on. Everything above this line is the real sun as it's coming into view. Everything below that line is a reflection from here to here of what's above.
Yeah, right. So above
my
that,
question to Lewis and Curve is.
Nathan,
above
how
that
long
mirror-
is it going to go on
Okay,
arguing
I shut up now.
Well,
been given to him?
as long as you keep
Well,
talking
my
over him, he just
question
wants
is,
to
why
get
is
he
the
wants to
sun
get his
so
point
jagged
out
around
once consistently and put a question
Why
at
is
the
the
end
sun
of it,
so
but you just
jagged?
won't
It's
let
such a
him. So
brilliant,
Pete's been doing it for about
ball
10,
of light.
15
Why are we
minutes
not seeing
now,
a circle
and I've
in
got to
the
be
sun?
honest, I
Well-
side with Pete. Same goes for True Seeker. Regardless of if you think the information is disinformation, put here to make flat earthers look stupid, I don't care. I want people to actually hear it, then challenge it. But every time you cut Pete off, Pete just starts again, and this will go on indefinitely till you give him a couple of minutes to just make his point.
He's made this point. It's been given to him. He continues on.
You haven't
All
given
right.
it to me, Herb. Because
So
if
You
you've
have the mirror. You
if you've
have
given
the
it to me,
mirror.
then
What
you can
can you do
explain
with
the
it?
sunrise and the sunset, right?
You
Because
have-
this mirrored water layer comes into effect.
All
You
right,
have the
Pete,
mirror.
say everything that you have to say about this video.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to move on to better evidences.
No, this is the most excellent evidence, man. If you think about it, and maybe you don't understand what's going on here as well, Truth. And if you do,
No, but
can you
there's
tell me?
way more clearer things, and if you deny that, that just shows your honesty.
Well, can you
And
get
that's what
okay?
I'm saying. I've been debating with the intelligence community long enough to know their tactics. They have people on both sides of the spectrum, so that they can control the dialogue. It's
Okay.
as simple as that.
I understand that, man. But I'm saying to you
And I'm
that
saying you're bringing
I
up
found-
seriously the weakest evidence, and I'm being suspicious of that.
This
And I'm
is
a
the
flat
weakest
earther,
evidence. Hang on, man. Hang on. Let me talk the truth for a second, right?
Just before you
Tell me
do,
what's
though,
going
sorry,
on.
Pete, we've been joined by Brenda and Nichios once more, so if you can just say a quick hello to Brenda, that'd be very, very
'Cause
appreciative.
just real quick,
Yeah, how you doing?
Just before you do real quick, I just need to level up somebody, so can I just say hello to our new guest?
hello.
How you doing? Sorry, just truth. Tell me how this is flimsy evidence, and it's making I'm making a mockery of things. What are we seeing here? What are you seeing here?
You tell me what I'm seeing. I don't know what your point is. You have an
No.
agenda. with this.
I want tell me what you're seeing. You're saying there's much better evidence than here, and I'm sort of showing up.
Yeah, dude, there's literally hundreds of better evidence points, and the fact that you want to focus on this one that literally isn't even clear to me shows
Man,
that you
can
don't
you
want to
calm
move this
down?
forward either.
Can you calm down a second, please? Tell me what's going on here, then. If you understand it so well, tell me what's going on.
No, I'm actually telling you, there is about 200 evidences way more clear than this. I don't know what you're trying to prove, and neither
Right,
does
so you
anybody
don't.
else.
Right, hang
and
on
I
then.
think that could be your motive.
Hang on a second, please. Hang on a second, please. Just because you don't know what I'm trying to prove, I'm telling you this is the most excellent proof. So
Then,
you
then
go away and
say
do
it,
your
say it in
hang on.
30 seconds or
You
less.
go away and do your hang on. You go away and do your research, and then you'll be able to come back and make a value judgment.
Okay, so if it's the most simple one, explain it in 30 seconds or less, and then I'll do my due diligence research.
Right. This is not when we look out, this is not the solid horizon line. This is the illusory horizon line. What's actually in place here is a horizon line that crosses where my cursor crosses here. You can see the mirroring point. That is a vast swathe of water that acts like a mirroring layer, and it can be many miles in depth, right? This is what the sun interacts with when it comes into view, and this is what it disappears behind when it leaves. It proves a sunset and a sunrise on a flat Earth. If you think about it. If you don't think about it, then you're
Where's the
thinking
rest of the
stupid.
sun?
That's all I have to say.
Where's the rest of the sun?
Okay, so let me just move on with something that's incredibly way more stronger if you wanted to actually win a debate. Okay, let's just bring up Nikon P900 images of stars, moons, and planets, because I know a huge argument that globe people stick to is, well, we see it in space. Why wouldn't the spheres and circles apply to what we're standing on? So let's just see if you actually take an independent lens and not rely on a space agency that we've already proven are liars. Let's see if the images that we can all verify for ourselves match what they've been giving us.
Okay. A little more evidence, a little less diatribe.
Yeah, you can't bring that here right now and do anything with it, can you?
Where's the rest of the sun? Where's the rest of the sun? Where's the rest of the
Brenda,
sun?
the rest of the sun.
The sun,
right?
you guys clearly aren't understanding laws of perspective.
You don't.
The sun never sets below anything. It just appears to
correct.
a limited view that it does.
Where's the rest of the sun?
The sun
Right,
is
Brenda,
your
can you
eyes
appreciate-
can't perceive it because you
Can
have
you
a
shut
depth
up,
of
Truth,
perception.
please? Can you shut up, man? Because you're not taking into account the reality of the situation.
The
You have a
reality
mirrored water layer here.
is your own mathematics and science says your eyes can't see for infinity. Okay, you can't see billions of light years
right, but
away.
we also have a mirrored water layer here in effect, right?
And what does it do? What does
going
it do?
across all of the screen here, right?
This is part of the
That is
controlled
what the sun is
opposition that
appearing
people like
from
me are frustrated with.
behind.
People like Pete just want to bring up the most idiotic arguments, and people like me just
Shut
want
your
to bring
mouth,
it
man.
forward.
Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth.
If
Shut
they're
your mouth. This is the
idiotic,
most
it will be
excellent
shown that
argument,
they're
right?
idiotic, all right?
This is an excellent argument because when you take into account the false horizon line here and the real horizon line, which you can't see, which goes across the screen, this is what the sun appears behind.
Good.
And it's the most excellent argument. And you're a clown, Truth, for calling it an idiotic argument.
How does the bottom of the sun go below the horizon according
argument
to
here? And proof case does, right?
Explain what part of perspective takes the bottom of the sun below the horizon, wherever it is, Pete, wherever the horizon is in this image. How does the bottom of the sun and the entirety of the sun at the beginning of the video, how does perspective?
It goes into the vanishing point.
You don't know what the vanishing point is, jackass.
It's coming in. It's coming in from the distance curve.
If the sun, if the bottom of the sun is beyond the vanishing point, but the top of the sun is well within the limits of the vanishing point. That's your argument? The bottom is too far to be seen, yet the top of the sun can be seen at the same angular size that it's seen throughout the day. Get the F out of here. Who are you talking to, man? I'm talking to you, you moron.
What? I never made any argument.
Better if I was off mute. So we have about 5 minutes left on this debate. So if you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to join the panel, there is a link in the info box below this video. Simply click on your watch page and make sure it's muted before you click on that link to join the show and do some maybe last minute trolling, or of course express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you would like to support this show, there is a super chat that runs alongside the show while it is live, so hit that super chat to support the show. There are only a couple of rules in the Hangout. Number 1, please do not swear. Number 2, if you are ejected for swearing, please do not try to rejoin the show using sock accounts. You guys in the live studio audience will hear from me one more time just to thank you for joining us. But as I say, there are about 5 or 4 minutes left on this show.
I like this example by Pete because it conclusively, absolutely disproves, refutes, and debunks the flat Earth. Is it complete and total game over?
You're
shut down of the flat Earth.
Nonsense.
No, it's absolutely true.
Why is the sun jagged here, Brendan?
Pete is
Why
our
is the
top.
sun
Not important.
And I have an exact feeling that's why Pete brought this up. It's
Shut up, man.
You would
Please
have
stop
an
Completely
easy
refute.
argument.
It completely refutes the flat Earth. Completely.
This is what chills do. They create fake easy bait for them to slay.
Understand,
they look
Truth.
like they're superior and they've won the war.
Why is the
You
sun
guys are
jagged
jokes.
here?
You guys are jokes.
Well,
Why is the sun jagged?
Pete.
I'll be happy to see you in the next debate.
It's game over. It's game over. The Earth is round.
You slayed the controlled opposition.
I'm not bothered with this anymore. Anyone out there listening?
You beat the controlled opposition. Let me pat you on the back, buddy.
Keep your wits about you because there's liars everywhere.
And you're the big one, Pete. You're the big one.
Wide Awake has shown this mirrored water layer is always in effect.
Wide Awake
here.
Where's the rest of it, though?
I forgive him
Where's
for an
the
honest
rest of it?
mistake here, but he can go away and look.
Where's the rest of it, Pete?
With
Where's
new
the rest of
eyes
it, Pete?
and see what's been presented.
Where's the rest of it, Pete?
Right, I told you, Brenda. There's a mirrored layer.
No, you didn't. Where's the rest of it, though?
That's not an explanation.
Where's the rest?
Yeah, what is the mirror layer doing? What is the mirror layer doing?
Understand.
Explain
Why isn't the sun a perfect circle?
What's it doing?
Brenda? Why are we getting all these jagged pieces here?
Well, keep backpedaling. Where's the rest of the sun, Pete? Where is it?
No, I just told you it's below this mirrored. This is a mirrored layer of water here.
Well, what's right next to the mirrored layer of water? And we could, by the way, I know it's the end of the show. It really sucks. We could look at a sunset very similar that's not over water, and then we would be talking about the horizon, wouldn't we?
Yeah, then you're talking about a land horizon. You won't get this mirrored effect, Lewis.
Right, and we see the exact same things over land.
Yeah,
as we do over water. So what's
No, you don't, man.
What's
you virtually do. You virtually do.
And
No, you
look,
don't. That's
I'm done with
intellectually
this
that's
anyway.
intellectually dishonest.
I'm done with this. This is getting
Thank you,
nowhere.
Pete.
And
Thank you.
That's
Thank you
right.
for
Yeah.
refuting the flat Earth. Thank you. It's game
well,
over.
you can't say how I refuted it,
Game
Ben. It's
over.
ridiculous. Stupid.
No,
It's nonsense.
it's game over.
The
Doesn't
game-
matter.
Anyone
Make
can
up
The game's
and
over for the
make
globe.
up from this
The
nonsense.
globe.
Game
the
over.
globe.
I'm gonna lower you guys' volume just so I can do one final introduction without any interruption. So we've been joined by Spurs Chemo. Good to have you, Spurs. Thank you for being here.
Tim joined as well.
Good morning.
Good job.
Yeah, I was
Good
going
to
to
have
say,
you
did
here.
Tim come in
Thank you
here?
for joining us.
You can hear me okay, microphone check. Yeah,
Yes.
excellent. Okay, so we'll address
After
that.
party, woo!
We will address
Globe
the
is
sim
dead.
question.
The globe is dead.
Not quite. Not. Oh yeah, the globe is dead. That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
Pete just killed flat Earth, and you're claiming the globe
Fucking idiots.
is.
No swearing, please. We've
After-
also been
after
joined
you
by
guys-
Gem
after
Panda.
you guys have
One
something
last,
proven wrong, you just claim
one
the
last
opposite.
joiner. So thank you for
That's
joining
what
us,
you
Gem
guys do.
Panda.
What?
Hi, thank you.
What's wrong with you that you can't? Honest to God, what's wrong with you? I don't know.
We understand what's
Like,
going
the only
on.
thing I can think of is that, like someone who's playing a role in a movie or something, that they take on that character, so they can swear, they can lie within that character, but as a different person
I'm not
from
swearing.
the man. That's the only reason I can think you're swearing on these. Because I know you're
my
not that
name is
stupid,
Lewis
man.
Hackett. You can look me up in the white pages. You can find my address for free, and we can have lunch.
And with that, I'm going to say a massive, huge, enormous thank you to all of the audience for joining us on this live broadcast. Thank you very much indeed for being here. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.